Boatworks today is sponsored by Total Boat and Alexial Yacht Coatings, as well as supported by the generosity from the beautiful folks over on Patreon. Thank you so much.
So welcome back to the shop, everybody. Now this week for me has just been a lot of repetition. I'm patching up all of the old holes on deck from old hardware, or just hardware that's just no longer going to be needed. And it's just been the same steps over and over and over, 25, 30 times, give or take. But throughout this process, I may have stumbled across kind of an alternative way of applying these fiberglass patches that is pretty much bulletproof, even for someone that has never worked with fiberglass before in their life. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Now, I've already come through and I've prepped these three areas with a surface cleaner and dewaxer. Now, when we're talking about doing a fiberglass repair, whether it's from actual damage or in my case, it's from old hardware that's just no longer needed. But when we're talking about that kind of a situation, we're most likely going to be laying down multiple layers of glass, one on top of the other. Now, there's two schools of thought on how to approach this. And the first one being you start with your smallest patch of glass first, and then you build up in size. Another approach is to start with the largest patch first, and then as you gradually work smaller and smaller in size. Now, I think there's an actual door number 3 that for, I guess, beginner people or people that just don't do this very often. I think there's a door number 3 that's going to be much more approachable and much more consistent, especially if you've got multiple areas that you're dealing with. Now, overall, this process is going to go pretty quick, so I'm going to get each of these 3 areas all prepped at the same time. Now, first things first, I've got old mounting holes here on each one of these patches. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to come in and I'm going to fill these using a structural repair putty. Now, I'm not looking necessarily to get any build. I just want to fill in these holes. And again, any surface defects that may be in here. I've got, like I said, a little bit right in through here. So I am going to get a very thin skim coat right in through here. Now, this material is still going to be malleable when I'm laying the glass. So I don't need to get it perfectly smoothed out right now. When I'm going over with the glass itself is going to be able to kind of smooth everything over as needed. So now, since I've got this material mixed up, the clock is ticking because I want to try and hit all of these fiberglass patches before this stuff starts to gel on me. So this is going to be, I think I mentioned this is going to be kind of a one-take wonder. Now, as I mentioned here, I'm going to be using laminating polyester resin. And I'm going to be working in smaller batches, even though I'm going to try and work pretty quick. I'm going to do probably, 3-ounce batches, give or take. And again, I'm just eyeballing all of this. Now, I'm going to be doing 3 patches, 3 different ways, if that hasn't been made clear. The first patch that I'm going to do right here, this is going to be the way that I typically have always done it. So I am going to start first thing by just getting a little layer of resin down on the surface here, just so that the glass has something to kind of stick to. And the way that I typically do it is I start with my smallest patch first. And my reasoning for doing this is then that as each layer that's going down is going to get slightly larger and larger, each layer of glass is making contact with the surrounding area. Now, that's just what makes sense to me. There is a buddy of mine that we all know and love who does it the exact opposite. And I'll talk more about that here in a minute when I get to one of the other patches. But at this point, I am not being overly concerned that I might be laying too much resin on here. The way that this is going to end up working out, because at the end, the last thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going over all of these patches with what's called a fin roller. And essentially what that does is it helps to push out if there's any air that's trapped in between the layers. It helps to push out any air that might be trapped, as well as any excess resin. Now, when we're laying up glass, it is, honestly, it's better to have a little bit too much than not enough. You can always work out excess because the glass can only hold so much, so you can work that excess out. Now, I'm just going to leave this here for a minute and just give the resin a chance to actually soak in and saturate this fiberglass. Now I'm going to come in for patch number 2. Now this one, I'm going to do it Moss's way from Sail Life. Everybody I'm sure knows who he is, because we do very similar projects. Occasionally approach them slightly different ways, but again, the point I want to drive home here is that at the end of the day, I don't know if there's really one is truly better than the other. But the way Moss likes to do it is he'll start with the large piece first, which again, I'll touch more on this here in a minute. It gives you a lot of surface area right up front. It gives you a lot of surface area. And then all of the other additional layers that go on top of this, all of those additional layers are all relying on how well this first layer was actually bonded to the substrate. And again, here I'm still going to be heavy-handed with the resin. Okay, so we're going to let this patch soak. I'm going to start working this area out with the fin roller. And hopefully this is coming up on camera, but you can see the air and excess resin getting pushed out. Now, what I had mentioned before is, there was no perfect approach. If I had to come up with a downside to my approach, again, starting small and working larger and larger, is that the tricky part with that approach is that the larger piece going on top of the smaller piece, you still got this little lip around here from the smaller piece that this patch going over top has to be able to bridge. So there's a little bit of a step down there. It's not that difficult to do, but it's one more thing to kind of keep track of and be mindful of when you're going around with the fin roller. But it rolls out well. Nothing gets wrapped up on the roller here. It's coming out great. Now again, because when we're laying our material, we're going wet on wet. Each layer is chemically bonding to each other as well as to the substrate. So whether you're starting small or you're starting large, the entire laminate is going down in one shot, and it's all a chemical bond. Now, this area is done. This looks great. I mean, I'm not seeing any air. I didn't have a whole lot of excess resin to push out of here, but this looks good. Now I'm going to come over to the other patch. Again, this is the one that we started large, and we worked smaller and smaller in each of the sizes. Now, again, same thing. This works really well. The one thing that I see people kind of struggling with a little bit when they do this, not always, but occasionally, especially when you're working with smaller pieces like this, is that because the smallest piece is on top, as you're rolling it, it's much easier for the material to kind of shift around on you. And depending on the type of your glass, because it's a small piece, this happens more so as chop strand, but it can happen with any material. You can catch a stray strand on this roller, and as you're rolling it, it'll wrap itself up and start pulling the glass off of your repair patch. Again, not overly difficult, but it is a problem that people do run into. And here you can see right now, it's starting to kind of shift around on me a little bit. Whereas when I was doing this one, nothing was shifting. And there's one key difference, which is going to come into this third patch here. And I think that looks good as well. I'm not seeing any air. Excess resin has been squeezed out. I think we look good. Now for door number 3, and this is the approach that I'm gonna start recommending that people do, just because it's very, very straightforward. It combines the best of both worlds from these other 2 patches here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make Moss happy here. I'm gonna start with the largest patch first. And the reason I'm doing that, because again, just kind of running on that same idea where you have a lot of surface area kind of bonding onto the substrate. There isn't a right or wrong way of doing this for recreational boats. And I guess maybe that's the one part I need to keep hammering home here. So initially this is going to look just like this second patch here, which, by the way, I can tell by looking at these two, this center area is still just a little bit low, and that's fine. You know, the fairing compound can take that up. With 3 layers of 1708, I'm going to have a finished thickness of about 1/8 of an inch or 3 millimeters. Which, that thickness in 1708 on a small little project like this, more than adequate. Again, so far it's looking just like door number 2. I'm going to be just a little bit shy on my resin, I think. Dang it. Okay, now this is where things change a little bit. And by doing this last step, this eliminates any potential issue of glass maybe getting wrapped up in the fin roller or just shifting around on me. Because this last patch, I'm going back to the large patch, it's covering the entire area. Again, this is one of these things, it may seem like a very small and inconsequential detail until you've done this and you've had glass, right? You're like, all right, I'm just about done. I'm gonna make one final little stroke over here to kind of smooth this out. And then your fin roller snags a strand of glass and rips half your patch back up. Keep an eye on this edge right here. Now, typically when I'm using the fin roller, I'm gonna say start in the center and work out. So start in the center, work out, center, out, so on and so forth. Now, because this is a larger patch, I can start right at one opposite edge and work my way all the way across. And again, keep your eye on this forward edge as the air and excess resin are getting, there we go. Turns out I did have enough resin in there. And then kind of a nice little touch, just to help minimize the sanding, is when I'm going around with the fin roller, I'm going to kind of have one half of the roller riding on the deck and the other half actually running on the edge. What that's going to do is that's going to help to compress or feather off these edges, so I'm going to have less of a lip to sand off after this material cures. Now, I will say, when you're going around with your fin roller, you don't make fast, jerky movements. You know, it's just nice and slow. Slow and steady wins the race here. But this one, it feels perfect. Like, I feel that I'm flush with the surrounding deck. I'm not going to have hardly any fairing needed on this last patch here. Looking good. So now at this point, I would leave these patches sit for, I don't know, a few hours. In my case, I'm just gonna let this sit overnight. And then I'll come back in tomorrow with, I like to use gel coat that contains wax, but at the end of the day, you just need some way to seal this top so that all that polyester resin can actually cure, so that when you go to sand it, you're not gonna be gumming up your sandpaper and just making a heck of a mess. Now, kind of real quick, just kind of a brief overview here as far as option 1, 2, or 3. The way that I approach this, the way that I typically do it, starting small and going larger and larger, I may have forgotten to mention this, but the tricky part with that approach is that, you know, the larger piece going on top of the smaller piece, you still got this little lip around here from the smaller piece that this piece, the patch going over top has to be able to bridge. So there's a little bit of a step down there. It's not that difficult to do, but it's one more thing to kind of keep track of and be mindful of when you're going around with the fin roller. So that is, while I think that's my preferred way of laying up the glass, there is a little bit more that you need to keep track of, you know, and just kind of be, you know, more mindful of when you're rolling things out. Now on patch number 2, when you start large and go smaller and smaller, you can see every individual patch. You're not having to deal with any kind of a step down or a lip because each patch is getting smaller and smaller. It's just all laying one on top of one another. And that works great. The only catch that I have with that is that when you're rolling out, especially on small little patches like this, when you're going over with the fin roller, it's much easier for the material to kind of shift around on you, or a strand of material to get caught up on that roller and just rip the whole patch right back up off the deck. So that's a little bit of an annoyance there. Now, the beauty of door number 3 is that it combines those two. So you have the simplicity of not having to deal with that step down because you're starting large and going smaller and smaller and smaller. But then that last piece that you put over top, it caps everything so that you're able to go over with the fin roller, and you really don't have any concerns or possibilities of snagging an edge and ripping that patch up. It just, in my opinion, for someone that doesn't do this, very often, this is a much more reliable way to get it done, and it's going to be done consistently and correctly every single time. So I think going forward, that's what I'm gonna start recommending when I'm working with folks over on Patreon. I did a bunch of patches back in here, and I did them all this way. I think because I didn't have to kind of take my time and be mindful of what exactly was going on, these patches that I did back here seemed to go much faster start to finish than either of these other two approaches. It worked out extremely, extremely well. To be perfectly honest, I don't know how or why I didn't stumble across this before, but this worked slicker than slick. So that's what I've got for this week. It was just basically doing the same thing over and over, probably, I don't know, close to 25, 30 times. I've kind of lost track at this point. So, but hopefully this was kind of an interesting little aspect of a way to approach some of the repairs that you may be running into on your own project. So right now, I think this is going to be a good stopping point. And on that note, I'm gonna go ahead and button this video up right here. So as always, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found this helpful. And if you did, hit that thumbs up button. If you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. Thank you in advance, I truly appreciate it. If you have any questions, comments, thoughts on any of these three approaches, please leave those down below. I will do my best to follow up with you. And as always, I wanna thank you for your time. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful Valentine's Day weekend. And I'll see you in the next video when we're gonna be focusing on the interior. We're switching gears. I'm gonna get the exterior to holding point, and then I gotta jump down below. There's a lot to dissect down there, and I've been kind of itching to get started on that one. So that's what's coming up in the next video. Hopefully see you then.
This has been a Boatworks Today production.